Today I have my cart ready because this afternoon in first grade I'm going to go into a first grade classroom and kind of as an end of the magnetism unit, they've done explorations with what's magnetic, what's not, what's it mean when magnets attract, what's it mean when magnets repel. The students understand about north poles and south poles of magnets. And in some of the classes I've gone in and we've magnetized needles and made our own compass, so they do know that that's happened. Whether I've gone in has just kind of depended on whether the teachers were interested in doing that. But today the lesson is going to be about, can the students make a tool that uses magnetism to help solve a problem? I pose to the kids, or I suppose it's not pose, I show the kids some things that I have here in my office that help me with a problem I have. I tell them that I like to have safety pins because safety pins are good for fixing things. But part of my problem with the safety pins is that in this little dish, in this little covered container, in my desk drawer, it gets covered up with all the different types of things. But this one had a problem. It gets solved by the fact that the back of this is magnetic, and it's really nice when I'm sitting on the floor with the kids. I usually just reach up and attach it to the whiteboard in their classroom, so that then I say, look, this way it solves the problem. I don't lose my safety pins because I can attach them to a door frame or any other magnetic things. I don't think my door frame here is magnetic. No, it's not. I only have a couple of magnetic things down here in the office. My cabinets are magnetic, so that's actually where these are. I also tell them that teachers have to do bulletin boards, and often we do bulletin boards with thumbtacks. Definitely the clear thumbtacks are very popular here at our school. And I say, I've got this dish, which is really handy because it's got all my thumbtacks, but when I'm putting up a bulletin board, I reach in and occasionally I poke myself, and that kind of hurts. I show the students that this thumbtack container actually comes with a lid, which is nice because then in my desk drawer it doesn't get covered with dust and things like that. But on the lid, it has this little extension arm that has a magnet. So the magnet attracts the pointy ends of the thumbtacks, and I can pull off one thumbtack at a time, and I'm not exposing myself to the pointy ends. And that solved a huge problem for me. I do also show them a magnetic bookmark that I have in my plan book, but the pièce de résistance for this activity is when I tell the kids, okay, I'm not going to need help, I know you want to help me, but I have this cool tool. I take my thumbtacks and I dump them out on the carpet. Usually first graders, they want to be really helpful. I'm like, no, I've got it. And I show them that I've got this tool. A lot of times they think it's a plunger. I tell them it would not be effective as a plunger at all. But instead, is very handy because it's magnetic. And it's not just any type of magnetic where I could have just a regular magnet and then pull my thumbtacks off one by one, but I'm a busy teacher. I don't have time for that. So the kids are fascinated with the fact that this has the disengagement arm. And usually I challenge them to see if they can tell how this one works so that it demagnetizes. After I've shown them the different tools that solve problems because of their magnetism for me, or solve problems for me because of their magnetism, then I tell the students that their job today is they need to think of a problem that could be solved by using some type of magnetism. They need to design and build a magnetic tool. I give each of them the opportunity, after I put out all of the stuff that's going onto a table, they get to shop for 3 items, not 3 things, so they can't take, oh, this is one thing, even though it's 4 rolls of tape. No, 1 roll of tape, although tape usually isn't one of the options. 1 roll of tape would be 1 thing, a second roll of tape would be 2 things, so 2 rubber bands would be 2 things. So they can't just take fistfuls of pipe cleaners because otherwise they're not really good at pacing themselves. They get to pick their 3 things, and I put one of these magnets at their place. It's this size magnet. I need to look up what size that is. They're relatively strong. They're the ceramic magnets. I put one in each of their workspaces, and they get to start working on their device. I do also have in my backup, if kids are like, I really need a second one, I tell them that they can trade me their big one for 2 small ones. I've got some of the flexible tape magnets that have the sticky back, so that if students do actually need to, sometimes they just want to because they just want all the things, they can get a second magnet. These just aren't as strong, and occasionally we have need for long rectangular magnets, although it's not very often. So I do have the magnet tape available if they need it. But then I give students probably 20-30 minutes to work. We've got the hot glue guns going. I've got tape on the tape temples. And one of my big rules, it usually takes them a little while to get going on their device, but eventually their magnet needs to either be glued or taped onto the device. The magnet can't stay on the device because of magnetism, because otherwise they end up losing their magnets. So that's first graders making magnetism tools. Oh, nice. Oh, so Grant, you're kind of excited.
What I make? Snake?
Works.
Oh, there's that is the
Nice.
So the magnet's on the bottom,
Uh-huh.
and you can just press down and hold it up.
That's awesome.
So I taped the magnet to the top, and I put 2 spoons on the sides, and then it made some scissors connect to my magnet.
So cool.
There's a magnet in here that I taped, and this is the holder, and you put a finger on it.
Right.
This finger.
And what does it do?
It picks up sharp stuff, so you don't have to pick up sharp stuff with your hand to cut yourself.
That's amazing.
The magnet's inside to keep this attracted to this, so this stays here.
Awesome. I love it.
Can I work on it a little more?
Of course.